So what's new with you?
But not much, not much. Just busy being busy, I guess.
Yeah.
So
How are th-
enjoying.
how are things with your goals and your life generally?
Oh, good. I'm good. I guess just what I envisioned doing in retirement. I
Right.
really haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah.
I've dabbled in it, but yet it's still like I'm just on vacation. So I don't do a lot of driven work, just goal work. I'm
So
getting
what?
there. Oh, just doing more stuff on my creative side, learning all the Adobe products, Illustrator, and doing more with photography and stuff like that. So um I've dabbled in it, but I've not like dove into it on a daily basis.
Right.
So
Well, it's your choice. You don't have to dive into it necessarily. Um, I like to see some of your photographs sometime.
oh,
What sort of stuff do you photograph?
well, I started out with the photography hobby. I call myself a mom photographer. Well, then I ran out of kids. I mean, and so landscape just doesn't do it.
Right.
Flowers, still life. I mean, I my kids were in the sport of rodeo, so I enjoyed doing that. I just love doing that. But there's other stuff I'd like to get into. So yeah, I take a couple of pictures of my horses and
You could take
anyway,
pictures of
yeah.
people on their horse.
Yeah, I mean that's what so I wouldn't mind hiring out as a mom photographer. I mean, so moms at the rodeos don't have to worry about taking pictures. I
Yeah.
could be their representative. So,
Yeah, exactly.
hmm
Yeah, if there's a rodeo, you could maybe set up a little booth or something and just
yeah.
let people know that you're available to take pictures because I'm assuming when they go to the rodeo, they wear their best clothes and they have the fanciest tackle on their horse and everything.
Well, it's the action picture that's unplanned, that's the one you want. I mean, the action
Right.
that yeah,
Yeah.
versus, what they look like or whatever. Street photography is something I'm really interested in as well. And again, it's the unplanned captured moment that is priceless, so to speak. So,
Yeah, there was quite a famous street photographer in Vancouver for many years. I think he's probably passed away now.
hmm
But he took pictures of people on the street for decades. And he became quite well
hmm
known. And if I could think of his name, well, I might think of his name later. I'll send you a link. Um, but he became quite famous for his sort of impromptu pictures of people walking down the street.
hmm hmm
I had a friend who was a great photographer, and for a while, what he did was he had a little van, and he did pet photography,
Oh,
and he sort of advertised, "I'll come to you and take a picture of your pet." And he had a few, props, lights, and backdrops and things like that. But he would make appointments, and people would, he would just go to their home, right? Take a picture of their cat or their dog or whatever, and it was a great little thing. He did well at it, and people loved it. And another friend of mine, speaking of photography, he just started a new business, and he's doing very well with it. Apparently, he bought himself a drone, and
oh,
and he contacted realtors, and he has a business now taking photographs of these properties. So if somebody has a listing, they phone him up and he takes his drone and he takes pictures all around the house and from above and whatever. And he loves doing that. So
well, and video production is what I'd like to get into as well, because you can't do drone photography without the video production type of
That's
thing.
true. This is video. Yeah.
Yep.
Listen to the two of you writing down a couple notes here. But yeah, this is a neat topic. I was thinking of it as you were talking. I was thinking about it for my son for a hobby. You know, you're always looking for what direction to send your kids in early on. They've got plenty of time. I always wanted to. We have a pretty good film school near here with Chapman University.
Oh,
Has a pretty
cool.
well known. But I keep telling my kids like, go there, go there, and they haven't bitten on it yet. But yeah, it's kind of neat. I think that you must know a lot about light and apertures and all that technical stuff is pretty complex. Although a lot of the cameras do a lot of it now for you, but um, the equipment's not cheap to buy these photo
No.
zoom lenses and stuff like that, right? To really get these
Right.
sports photography shots are hard to do. So I don't know if you use a new digital latest state of the art or do you use an older one. The older ones you could probably buy cheaper, but you got to know more, right?
I got a what they call a Leica.
Uh-huh.
It's a German-made camera, but the quality of the actual picture is so high quality you don't need the zoom because you could crop it just as if it was zoomed in
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So
and
you just
still have a
yeah,
high quality picture.
that's
One
kind
of
of
the
neat.
things I used to enjoy with my dad was he had a dark room, in the
Oh,
basement.
fun.
And of course, this was back in the day before digital cameras, right? And so he knew all about, apertures and shutter speed and all the things which, I don't know a lot about. And so, but one of the things that he taught me or that I learned from him was that you can take a picture like a negative, back in the day when they had negatives. Now you can do it, digitally. And depending on what the picture is about, you can frame it, by adjusting the frame, right? Or, blowing it up or whatever, enhancing certain parts of it. Like you mentioned, Adobe, they have all sorts of photographic software. And you can sort of darken certain parts of the picture if it's too light, or you can lighten certain parts that are dark. And I used to love doing that. And I still love it. I still play with pictures, and it's amazing. You can take, certain photographs,
Hmm.
and you can get 5 or 6 totally different photographs out of it, depending on how you frame it. And I was watching something yesterday. It was an interview with Steven Spielberg, right, on YouTube, and he was talking about his movie Duel, which was the first movie he ever made. And if you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. I would highly recommend it.
Okay. You want to play games? Back in the bus, please. Please, come on. Come on, back in the bus.
I remember I came across it one night. I was sort of up around midnight or something, and I turned on the TV. I guess I couldn't sleep. I turned on the TV, and this movie came on, and it was Duel, right? I didn't know what it was at the time. And what it is it's basically about this guy. He was a traveling salesman, right? And so he's driving through the mountains, and this big dirty old truck starts to harass him, right? And he realizes this guy is trying to kill him with this truck. And so the whole movie, and it was originally a TV movie, so it's like 50 minutes long or something. They eventually turned it into a feature film. They added another 20 or 30 minutes to it and made it long enough to be shown as a feature film. But he's in a car, and he realizes guy in this truck is trying to run him off the road, trying to kill him, you know. So the whole thing is about this duel between this guy and this truck, you know, and the truck is kind of like, it's kind of like a monster. I mean, you can imagine it might be a dinosaur or something, you know. As a matter of fact, Steven Spielberg was talking about, he used a couple of the sequences in Jurassic Park years later, you know, because it's the same kind of movie, you know, it's some guys getting attacked, you know, by something. Only in this case, it was a truck, you know, that was, and you never saw the driver of the truck. So it was just this big menacing truck, you know. And but it's a great movie. And I remember when I first saw it, and I've seen it a few times since then, I was struck by how exciting it was and how tense it was, and how much sort of fear, you know, there was, and you could feel the fear and tension in your body. And all it was a guy in a car and a truck, you know. But the way it was shot was so interesting, you know. It was like a Hitchcock film or something. And but one of the things that he mentioned, and I this is why I'm telling you the story, that he had to shoot the whole thing in 10 days. It was the first film he made. It was his first opportunity to make a movie. You know, he was like 19 years old or something. And he had 10 days to shoot it, and he shot it. And then it had to be shown on TV in about a week. So he had 4 or 5 editors working on the film, putting it together, you know, and all these different sequences of the truck, you know, threatening the guy, or you know, at a certain point the truck's kind of waiting behind a hill, you know, you can't see him, and then he drives out, and then all of a sudden, there's the truck, you know. But at any rate, he was talking to these editors, and one of the guys says to him, "Hey, look at what I put together here." And so what he put together was a sequence of shots that lasted, I don't know how long, you know, maybe a few minutes. But it was a sequence that Steven Spielberg didn't shoot. You know, the guy had just taken shots of the truck and the car, and Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper, I think I'm thinking of somebody else, Dennis Hopper. Dennis, is it Weaver, the guy that played Dennis?
Oh,
I think it's
Weaver.
Dennis Weaver. Yeah, I think that's who.
Yep.
At any rate, he said, "Wow, this is really cool." So, you know, he put it in the show, but he said he didn't actually shoot that sequence. The guy made it up from taking a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this and putting them together to make a certain
Editing is quite the art.
editing is where it's at, you know. Like
Mhm.
a lot of people say that it's the editor that really makes the movie, and sometimes that's true, you know, that they can make a good movie out of something that's not very good just by the way they edit it. But even with a still photograph, you know, you can do a lot with the editing, right?
Mhm. For sure.
So what's new with you guys? Christmas coming right up.
It is.
Doesn't seem possible somehow.
No.
Yeah, another year gone by. It's kind
But
of
it's
crazy.
that way every year. It's like, what? Christmas already? I mean, you know.
I know Christmas is always coming. Why am I always late for it? I know it's all.
Exactly. I was talking to my wife yesterday. I said, you know, I don't think I want to put up any lights or any decorations or anything this year. I just don't feel like it. She said, yeah, I don't either, you know. But then it seems like every year we sort of say, okay, let's put up something. You know? We got these lights here. We might as well string them around the windows or something, you know, put a Santa Claus in the window, or, you know, something.
Reminds me of I went to one Thanksgiving when we were younger in our marriage. My wife and I went to. I said, let's not make Thanksgiving dinner. Let's just go to a restaurant. It would be easier. So we went. And we were at this kind of middle class restaurant, and I was sitting there. My wife started to cry, And I thought, oh, if that's just what's wrong? I said, I was having such a nice day. There was football in the background, we were there, and I had everything I wanted, right? And she started to cry, and she was so disappointed that we didn't do it, and so I never did that again. I was like, you gotta
Right.
go out of your way a little bit to do it. I was thinking that I'm going to put up decorations today, so I was like, and I had that conversation in my head yesterday. I was like, do I put them up or not? The kids are older, and yesterday my wife was decorating the inside, so I figured, aha, I think I remember my lesson. So I want to make her happy. So I'm gonna be outside putting up lights today, like Chevy Chase and Christmas Vacation.
Well,
But
you don't want to make her unhappy. That's
that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put
Oh.
some Christmas lights up. We have some skinny trees, like a little row of skinny trees towards the front. And so you see that in town a lot. Just the lights wrapped around the tree trunk.
How do they get them up there?
So,
How do you do it?
well, I just did the tree trunk. So
Oh.
5 of them, but
Oh, that's neat.
we have like 7 trees, but I just did the first 5. But
Yeah, we
Kinda
were out
fun.
the other night. We were out the other night. We went swimming. Just there's a pool not far from here, and so we were driving down there and driving back, and I noticed that all the trees on the street, at least the ones owned by the city, the ones in the middle of the road and everything, they all had these Christmas lights, and they were just kind of like hanging vertically down the branches. I guess they just sort of maybe wrapped them around or something. I don't know, but they just look vertical. But they look so nice, because they were all the same,
mhm.
and it made a great display of lights. So really enjoyable. So Greg, what's new with you?
Just getting ready for the holidays. What has been new? Trying to get back into working out, doing a couple little doctor's appointments and things like that. Gonna get some eyeglasses and I noticed I start grinding my teeth. I got it when I sleep. I gotta get a mouth guard for that. So I made a dentist appointment. Just little stuff. Just kind of doing some health checks and things like that, which aren't not things I enjoy doing, but they're important to do, I guess. And gonna add that to my workout regime and stuff like that. So I've been working on that, reading a little bit. I was watching some of the videos you sent over this week, and I had a good month at work and trying to get what's going this holiday season going at work. It's a little bit different right now. It's a little slow, I guess, but been at it for a while. So I'm pursuing some of the ideas we talk about here to grow the business. And that's kind of it, really. I think we're going to stay local. I was thinking of traveling, but I don't think I'm going to travel this holiday.
Yeah, I think a lot of people staying home. Did you happen to see the video I put up there a couple days ago, or maybe yesterday? I'm sure I sent you a link to it.
I
About
have not looked at it.
I looked at one this morning that you had
mental time
sent.
travel. Bruno.
Oh,
on
I did
the
not see
train.
that one. No,
Bruno on the train. Yeah, I was wondering what you thought of it, but if you haven't seen it, then
I haven't seen that one. I was watching the other one you sent this morning, or listening to, which was very good.
anyway, watch that thing about Bruno takes a train. I could show it now if I could share it. I wonder if I can share it so you can see it.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
It's only
too.
7 minutes long, but I'm curious what you think of it. Let me see if I can find it here. I think I have to open it first and then I can share it.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how is your life unfolding today? Would you like your life to unfold differently, to follow a different track? Well, you need to understand the new scientific discovery of mental time travel. The easiest way to understand mental time travel is with the story of Bruno taking a train from one part of the country to another. His present is the rail car that he's sitting in. His world line consists of the stations and the places that the train has already passed through. The most probable future is the track down which the train is now heading into the future. Now, if you were asleep and you woke up and suddenly realized you were on a train that was moving somewhere, what would you do? Well, probably the first thing that you would do is ask people, where are we going? Where's this train heading? If you discovered that the train was heading in a direction or to a destination that you didn't want, what would you do? And if you realized that it was possible to change trains and get on a different track to a future that was more in line with what you wanted, would you want to do that? So imagine that you're on the train, you look around, and you ask people, where are we going? Well, you'd find out that probably most people would say, well, I don't know. I'm just on the train here. Everybody's on the train. We're all going the same place. You might just accept that you don't have any control over what train you're on or what rail car you're on, the conditions of the environment that you're in. But what if at some point you felt the train stopping and you realized, oh, hey, we're getting to a train station here. The train pulls to a stop. You notice that you're able to look out the window. Next to you, there's another train. You see the people on that train through the window, and they look like they're having a better time. They're wearing nicer clothes. They're eating better food. It looks like they're having more fun. They're in a better environment. Then the train starts to move again. You're back on the track, back on the road, and you start asking people, hey, did you see that other train that we were sitting next to in the station for a few minutes? You might find a lot of people say, well, no, I didn't notice. What are you talking about? But if you keep asking, you might find somebody who says, well, yeah, I saw that other train. That's the successful, happy train. So you might say, well, how do I get on that train? How did those people end up on that train? How come their train is so much nicer and they seem to be having a much better time and their quality of life is much better than is happening on this train? And again, most people are going to say, I don't know, I guess it's luck of the draw. Those people are lucky enough they ended up on that train. And that's how it is. We're on this train. Those people are on that train. Just luck. But if you keep talking to people and asking these kind of questions, you might find that there's one person on the train, an older gentleman or perhaps an older lady, who says those people are on that train because they chose to be on that train. So maybe the most natural question to ask is, well, how did they get to be on that train? And how did I get to be on this train? And the elder might reply to you saying something like, you chose to be on this train. And those people chose to be on that train. And you go, what? I don't remember choosing to be on this train. And the elder might say to you, well, that's because you forgot which choices you made that put you on this train. Do you remember back when we were in the station and there were different lines and different rows of people going into various doors leading to various trains? Do you remember that? And you might say, well, vaguely. I mean, I was half asleep at the time, but I remember I was in this big train station and there were these lines of people. Everybody just seemed to be going in different lines. So I just chose a line to go in. And it turned out, I guess, that that line led to this train that I ended up on. And the elder might say, well, yeah, that's right. So you did choose to be on this train. And you might say, well, I didn't know I was leading to this train. If I knew I could get on the other train, the train that was happier with more successful people, nicer entertainment, nicer clothes, better energy, I would have chosen to be on that train. But I didn't know that these different lines were going to these different kinds of trains. I didn't see any signs. And the elder might say to you, well, the signs were there. You just didn't see them. Remember on the wall there were those different posters with different squiggly lines on them? You might go, oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember vaguely now seeing them, but I didn't know what they meant. I didn't understand what they were saying. And the wise person says, well, that's because you couldn't understand the signs. You couldn't read the signs. The signs were telling you of the choices that you had, but you weren't able to read those signs. And maybe the older person says to you, well, it's possible to change trains. Every once in a while, you have an opportunity to choose a different train. You can choose a different track to go on. What would you do? Would you say, really? I can change trains? I can get on that train where the people are healthier, happier, eating better food, wearing better clothes, listening to better music, having what looks like really interesting conversations? Is it possible that I can still choose? That I could still have a choice? I can change to a different train on a different track? Is that what you'd say? Or would you say, that's okay. I'll just stay where I am. I'll just stay on this train. You see, here's the deal. Each of us is on our own track. We're in our own car, sitting there looking around, wondering what's going on. How exactly did I get here? Where is it that I would rather be? And how do I get myself into a situation where I can choose a completely different track for my life? Well, that's what this book will help you do.
Could you see that?
I think that's awesome. That is incredible.
Really?
Yeah, I think that is really revolutionary. I mean, what do you think, Naomi?
Yeah, I think so too.
I want because my kids are making choices as they go to school and go to college and make different choices, and it's really important to see the track they're on, as well as myself.
I'm curious, what did you
Just
think
your-
of that, Naomi, that little video?
Oh, no, yeah, it was really good. I mean, really good frame of mind. I was reading a book called Think Ahead. Well, it's the same concept. You know, I kind of wanted to tell the author, well, yeah, you're thinking, you're visualizing, you're deciding to get on the right train, so to speak, for
Yeah,
sure.
well, I'm going to be doing a couple of talks in January, and I've been thinking about how am I going to explain what we're doing, because for years I've been struggling with how do I describe what it is that I do or that we're doing. And so the idea, of course, that we have this map of space-time, right? Which is a great thing, I think, because it gives you a visual way to think about, oh, okay, well, I'm here, I want to go there, so I need to make a shift, right? And of course, the way you change trains is by changing your thoughts, changing your beliefs. But the idea that each of us is on a train that's moving into the future. I mean, we're all getting older, right? You've probably noticed that. So each of us is sort of in this situation where we're moving along a track. And as I say in that little video, you ask people, how do we get here? What's going on? And people are either going to say, I don't know, we're just here. This is it. Or they're going to say, well, it's just luck. Those people are lucky. Those people that have better relationships or, better lifestyle, they're lucky and we're not. This is where we are. We can't do anything about it. But then you realize, hey, wait a second, you can change your track. So to my mind, the track is like on a scale of 1 to 10, and that's what I start with. How satisfied are you with your life today? Well, if you're satisfied 8, then you're on the 8 track. And if you want to be on the 9 track, then you gotta shift, past successes list, setting your goals, using affirmations, all those tools. So I'm glad that you liked it, because I'm still looking for an easy way to explain, what is mental time travel? What are we doing? And of course, the key is the idea that, well, we're on that map of space-time. We're on our world line there. And if we want to change, it's possible to change anytime. Just make a decision. And then the key, of course, is the idea that it's your thoughts, it's your thinking. You set a goal, you visualize it, you imagine that you're there, you talk to your future self, take chances, take a, try new things. So yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
We would love to have you join us in this online community for $1 a day. You get your own PDF copy of the book upon which this entire training series is based, along with 2 powerful meditation visualization recordings. You also get a free copy of this Design Your Life workbook and a 4-hour video course that tells you how to use it to change your life step by step. You get lifetime access to all of this on day 1, and you can cancel your registration at any time. Just go to learntodesignyourlife.com and click the link to join the online community.